Hi everybody, today I'm going to be showing you how to add ribbing to the bottom of your garments. This is a sweater I've been working on and as you can see the ribbing is nice and tight and it just adds that finishing touch to your garments. Now this is the top that I'll be adding the ribbing to. First things first though, the your hook size, if you would like a nice tight ribbing like what was in the yellow sweater, I would go down a hook or two. So for this I used a 4mm hook to make this, and I'm using a C, I don't know whether you can see that, a C hook to do the ribbing, just because I like it nice and tight. You can use the same hook size that you've used to make your garment, but the ribbon will be a little bit looser. So experiment and find out what works for you. Okay, so to add the ribbing, I would always recommend join at one of your seams, and you'll have to work out which way looks better for you. So you might want to do a sample to work out which side should be the front and which side should be the back. So we join our yarn. If I come in just a little bit for you, we join our yarn as we would ordinarily. So I just like to do a little slip stitch just to tie that in. And then for this particular pattern I need to chain 7. So we've joined our yarn and we're going to chain 7, 2, 3, fairly tightly, not too loose, 5, 6, 7. And then what we're going to do is, without chaining one and without missing one of the chains, we're going to go straight into that first one and single crochet. Now it does take a little bit of getting used to, and that first one can be a little bit tricky, and then we'll single crochet in the next 6 chains all the way down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So in total I now have 7 single crochets. So joining your ribbing to your garment is fairly simple once you know what you're doing. So all we're going to do is we're going to take the first stitch along the bottom of our panel and we're going to slip stitch into it, and then we will slip stitch into the next stitch. So we've slip stitched across 2 stitches in the bottom of our panel, and then we will turn our work and we will single crochet back loop only in each of the 7 stitches along the bottom. So back loop only. For those of you new to this, you can see there you've got 2 loops. This one here is the front loop, this one here is the back loop. Try and keep your stitches fairly tight and your tension consistent. And then make sure you get that last one. It's going to be tricky because we didn't do a chain 1. So that's my 7 stitches. So you can see we're starting to get the ribbing there. And then we'll turn our work and we're going to work back along these 7 stitches. So we're going to do a single crochet straight into that first one. We're not going to chain 1, remember. And we're working into the back loop only. and then we'll single crochet back loop only in the next 6 stitches. And then we'll slip stitch into the next stitch along the base of our panel, and we'll slip stitch into the next stitch. So that's attached our ribbing, and then we'll turn our work and we'll single crochet back loop only into those 7 stitches. Remembering to get that very last one, which can be a little bit tricky. And then we'll turn our work and we'll single, I'm just going to move my yarn to the back so I can see what I'm doing. We'll single crochet back loop only into each of those 7 stitches. And then because we've reached the main body of our garment, we're going to slip stitch into the next stitch along the bottom of our garment and slip stitch up to the next stitch. And then we shall turn our work and single crochet back loop only down those 7 stitches. Now you need to make sure that you're keeping your stitch count correct all the way around your ribbing, otherwise it will be noticeable. And then we'll turn our work and we follow that process all the way around, as you can see, using a slightly smaller hook and not doing the chain 1 at the end creates a much tighter, nicer ribbing for the bottom of your garment, and it'll give it a lovely finished look. So I'll work my way all the way around this garment and then I will come back and show you how to join once I reach this end. So here I am at the end. You can see I've gone all the way around the bottom of this tee, and you can see how well using a smaller hook works. Now all I've got to do is join at the ends. So if the pattern calls for joining, sometimes they leave the sides at the seams open to give a little bit more space for the hips, but if it calls for joining, basically we just take the back loop of the front one, and because we chained to start, we're just going to slip stitch, and we'll do that all the way down the row. So just using the back loop, next stitch and slip stitch. You can of course use needle and thread and just stitch the 2 ends together if you prefer. It's really about finding something that works for you, but I quite like this method. Oops, didn't quite catch all of that one. There we go. And then that is my ribbing joined. So I'm just going to do a snip my yarn and fasten off. And then literally all I need to do now is just sew in my ends. I do hope you've enjoyed this tutorial today. If you have, please feel free to hit the little subscribe button and the little bell icon to be notified of any updates and new videos that I will post. And I hope to see you soon. Take care. Bye.